Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for checking out this video. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Shout out to the 19. Folks, the WNBA has just wrapped up probably its wildest, craziest, most well-known regular season in league history, gearing up for the playoffs. And I thought it would be a great time to go over some attendance numbers for the league now that the Caitlin Clark era has completed its first season. And of course, as you can see, the Indiana Fever, who drew only about 4,400 a game last season, topped the league by far. 85,000 more fans in the next team, a little over 4,000, 4,300 more per game than the next team, with an average attendance over 17,000 per game. Their lowest was over 15,000, 15,022. They set a league record for combined home and away number, which they actually broke in game 26 out of a 40 game season. So I don't know if that number is going to be touched anytime soon, unless, well, there's one way it can be touched, which we'll get into because it makes these numbers look even more epic for Caitlin Clark. Because we've got some teams down here like the Mystics, the Wings, the Dream, the Connecticut Sun, the Chicago Sky, teams that don't play in big arenas, right? They actually draw close to capacity, but their capacity is not all that much. And to that point, you look at these other teams like the Liberty and the Aces, the Sparks. I think I didn't double check to confirm, but I think most of these are Caitlin Clark numbers. Right. I know the Dream is they made a big deal. The Mystics is that's a league record. That was the final game of the season. The Sun number is not because that was that one time they played in TD Garden. But I believe the Sparks, Mercury, Aces, Liberty, those are all Indiana Fever games, which brings me to a point that I thought, oh, one thing I also wanted to point out is don't forget these live attendance numbers. And this is crucial when you look at it compared to other leagues as well. Just for example, early in the season when the Fever played the Los Angeles Sparks, who don't draw all that well, and they had that 19,000 plus game, and they compared it to what the Lakers draw, which was like 18 something, which was, was a sellout capacity. But the ticket prices are obviously very, very different. So the ticket prices for Caitlin Clark games very different. We just saw that in the video I just did with the first round of the playoffs, where game one of the first round with a Caitlin Clark in the game cost more than all four. The cheapest ticket cost more than all four games of the league finals last year combined. $133 for a first game, first round the cheapest ticket for Caitlin Clark game. $131 total for the cheapest ticket to watch all four of the finals games between the Liberty and the Aces last year. It's insane. Now, one thing I wanted to point out on a couple of these, you had the Chicago Sky, which did not move to bigger arenas. And I know at least once they couldn't because of other stuff that was happening, but they didn't move to a bigger arena for the Indiana Fever games. Connecticut Sun didn't do it. Dallas Wings didn't do it, but the Mystics and Dream did. So that's a huge missed opportunity, and I'll show you what I mean. Here's a breakdown of the home games for with Caitlin and non-Caitlin games, right? Look at some of these numbers. Now, again, Dallas, Connecticut, Chicago never moved to a bigger arena like a lot of these other teams did, right? So that's why there's not as much difference. But look, the smallest difference, and think about that smallest difference is 42%. Versus Indiana, Las Vegas drew 15,383 compared to 10,827 versus the others. You go up here, Indiana, Atlanta versus Indiana, 17,592. Everyone else they played 3,300. Washington Mystics, home attendance versus Indiana, 20,522. Against everyone else, just under 5,000. I mean, these are insane numbers. Minnesota, 19,000, 8,200. Sparks, 19,100, 10,600. Seattle, 18,300, 10,389. I mean, these are huge, huge differences to the point where, check it out. This, I mean, you can see it in this number too. We'll look at the teams that didn't move games, or I should say the two teams that did. Wait, the two were Atlanta and Washington. Check this out. Atlanta, their average attendance at home for the year, 4,743. But take Indiana out of there, which was what, 2 games, and it's only 3,300. That's the impact of Caitlin Clark. That's crazy. Washington Mystics, average attendance for the year, 6,500. And by the way, that's higher. Same thing with the Dream, I believe. That's higher than what their actual capacity is at their normal arena. 6,500 for the season, but take Caitlin Clark out, and it's under 5,000. That is absolutely insane. Insane. The lowest, again, the lowest. Look, we take out Chicago, Connecticut, and Dallas because they didn't move. And even there's a difference, right? Hey, don't forget, y'all are going to watch because of Angel Reese too. You watch it because of Angel Reese too. But I mean, even the Las Vegas Aces, who we keep hearing about how awesome they are and how well they draw, 42% difference between Caitlin Clark games and the rest of the season. New York, the other mega face of the league franchise, 44% difference, 17,568 with Caitlin Clark, 12,192 without Caitlin Clark. Absolutely crazy numbers. Obviously, huge missed opportunities for the Chicago Sky, the Dallas Wings, and the Connecticut Sun, because again, you're talking about 20 home games in a season to have such a significant change, not to mention ticket prices are going to be higher. That is a big, big impact on the bottom line in terms of revenue generated at the gate for these teams, which reminds me, as someone pointed out today, the Connecticut Sun shared a gym in a community center for practice today, heading into the playoffs tomorrow. And look, I'm not even going to yell at the WNBA because obviously that's a franchise issue, but that's a franchise that could have played their home games against the Fever and Clark, or they should have tried at least. I haven't heard that they tried. I mean, they can't. They're doing everything they can to downplay Caitlin Clark, to hurt Caitlin Clark, and they can't. A team, professional basketball team, can't even get a gym to itself to practice the day before their first round game in the playoffs. Now, yeah, you got a sneak peek there. One other thing I want to show you, because this is crazy. This is crazy, and I'm so glad that I'm able to show you this because, as we've heard many times throughout the year from the people upset about Caitlin Clark, right? They keep talking about how the league is fine, the league's always been fine, and how much the league has been growing, especially recently, right? It's been crazy growth over the past few years, past 4 or 5 years. Remember the video I did way back, and I brought it up a couple times, the awful Becky Hammon video, where the awful Becky Hammon was downplaying Caitlin Clark and dismissing the effect she's had by talking about how amazing the league has been and how much growth the league has seen recently. And that Caitlin just happened to come around at the right time. She came around at the tipping point. So she's also benefiting from that tipping point that all the other players had laid the foundation for, that Caitlin Clark has been the beneficiary of. So let's take a look at that tipping point nonsense, folks, because here is a line graph, a beautiful, beautiful line graph of the yearly average attendance. Now, these are the 7 teams that have been in the league this long. So this goes back to 2004. In fact, this would look even worse Keep this in mind. This would look worse if it had gone back further. Because remember, because of the marketing campaign and everything the NBA was putting into it, the WNBA didn't start out all that badly in terms, right? That's why we keep talking about numbers that aren't record setting. They're numbers that are best numbers since, this game in 97 or this game in 99 or this game in 2003. And then everything sort of fell off the cliff. Haven't seen a million viewer games since 2008. But I want you to check this out. So understand, and this happened all over the place, right? The NBA saw this too. You have the Corona beer effect happened here, right? And ratings fell. And so this is the growth they keep telling us about. This is the growth they keep telling us about from, 2021 to now. And look at, except guess what? The now, let's go back to 2023. These numbers are all still lower. I mean, there's been no growth. Look at this. It's flat. It is flat all the way from 2004, and then it drops down. And again, that's unnatural. So I'm not like criticizing them for the decrease there, but all it has done was bounce back. And then what? Then we get into 2024. Look at the Indiana Fever, folks. Indiana Fever have been just like everybody else, except in these, they didn't bounce back as much. And then boom, right through the roof. And this is actually even, I don't know if they included the last game or not, because I would say that this numbers actually should be higher. But as you can see, a few other teams broke the 10 mark. They've gone finally have gone past what they did 20 years ago. This is all because of Caitlin Clark. So this growth, this is not growth. This is bounce back to what they had 20 years ago. Again, go from 2004 to 2020 to even 2023. If you take away this decrease, it's flat. It is a flat line. Flatliners, by the way, the original, great movie. The remake's terrible. The original is a great movie. You should go watch that. But this is awful stuff. And I'm going to leave you with, because we've gone through TV ratings so many times. We've talked about, I mean, what, over 21 million plus rated games now, all the networks setting records and on and on. So I'm going to give you the overall number, which is crazy. Televised games. Caitlin Clark, televised games. And by the way, that means that includes, NBA TV and everything where there aren't nearly as many and they set records, but the records are still in the like 600,000s. Caitlin Clark games, 1.178 million. That is the average in a league that has not seen a single million plus game since 2008. All other games in the league, 394,000. Caitlin Clark does 3 times the league average. 3 times I should say the non-league average, because obviously with Caitlin Clark it skews the league average, but without her, when the Caitlin Clark's in the game, in the on the schedule for the televised game, it does 3 times what the league does. We'll say it one more time. 3 times. 1.178 million, 394,000. WNBA, you must get on board with the Caitlin Clark effect and use it to your advantage. And I'm going to leave you with one more positive, because I saw this just recently. Erica Wheeler put out a tweet about a lot of people in their DMs offering to buy her dinner and this and that. And she said, hey, she has a foundation, for those of you that don't know. And she said, in fact, I don't know if I don't have it up. Remind me, and I will do that in another video. Um, and give that to you. But you can also look up Erica Wheeler on Twitter. She has a foundation. She said, hey, you can donate to this. And then she posted out a little later a video scrolling through and showing all the donations. All the donations. WNBA, that's how you handle it. Caitlin Clark brought her fans to the WNBA and to the Indiana Fever. And you have smart players, good people like Erica Wheeler who have embraced it. And now Erica Wheeler has all of these new fans that like Erica Wheeler and support Erica Wheeler for who Erica Wheeler is. Do you understand? Do you see what's happening? Can you comprehend through all of your irrational, petty jealousy and hatred of what this can mean for your entire league? Please, I beg of you, hire somebody that is intelligent and rational. Please. I'm going to leave it there. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below on the attendance, on the ratings, on the idea of growing the league. Go look up Eric. You'll find it. Go look up Erica Wheeler on Twitter. Go watch Flatliners, and let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It's so important. I really do appreciate it. It's a simple way for you to help me out and support the channel if you enjoy the content. And I will talk to you later.